This meeting will be held in person at the location provided on this notice. Members of the public are welcome to attend this in-person meeting. Please note that while an option for remote attendance and/or participation via Zoom is being provided as a courtesy to the public, the meeting here will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the virtual broadcast, unless otherwise required by law. Members of the public with particular interest in a specific item on this agenda should make plans for in-person versus virtual attendance accordingly. This meeting will be live on Zoom. The public may access the proceedings by joining Zoom meeting ID number 375-414-6055 or by calling 929-205-6099. For additional information about remote participation, please contact Carly Antonellis, Assistant Town Manager, ATM at ayer.mass.us or 978-772-8220 extension 100 prior to the meeting. I will call the meeting to order at 1:06. Okay. Do we approve? I need a motion to approve or amend the agenda.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
could I request that we combine the 110B and 140B agenda items?
Yes.
And discuss those first. And Cheryl, those are the items regarding the addition of a new member to the board. So I think that it would be helpful to kind of move those to the top.
Do I have a second? Second. And
All those in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
So I will make that amendment. And I actually did see that. Yes. So on the goals, I think we are still figuring out how to outreach.
I think Dennis made a motion to put the,
Okay.
Cheryl first before we talk about.
Okay.
goals, yeah.
So that becomes A. Okay.
So the first item on the agenda will be,
The board.
so Cheryl, nice to see you.
Good to see you all. I had you on mute so you wouldn't hear my dog barking in the background. He's being a very good boy right now, so.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and?
Thank you. Thanks,
why you
Dennis.
think-
I'd be happy to. Thank you for letting me go first. I saw, I forget where I saw it. It might have been in the Airtown emails that there was an opening for a volunteer to serve on your board. And where I've lived in Ayer for, actually it'll be 16 years next week. I live over on Snake Hill Road off of 2A. So we're in the throes of a lot of construction where I live. There's trucks and kinds of stuff going on in the city, in the town. As I explained to Dennis, I'm 68, soon to be 69 years old. So I am a senior. I'm a taxpayer. I'm a citizen. I'm interested in civic endeavors. I put my resume in just so that you would see a little bit about my background. I don't know if you folks had an opportunity to see, what I've done in the past. I've been on a few appointed positions. I was appointed to the Human Rights Commission for the city of Fitchburg for about 10 or 15 years. I still serve on the board of directors of the Spanish American Center. I'm a non-voting member now. I was president of their board for a number of years. So I understand how important it is to have volunteers and get input and ideas. I work from home because I have a serious physical disability, so I'm not able to get out of my house. In fact, I just had an elevator put in my house in order to be able to get outside and get some fresh air. So if the board could tolerate having a board member who's only available via remote Zoom meetings, that would be the only limitation of my ability to serve and function on the board. Do you folks have any questions for me or any?
I just wanted to first address that I don't think remote participation will be an issue from a technology perspective. We have the OWL system and all of our meetings are in a hybrid format.
It's great. I love it. I can see you guys very clearly. That's great.
And Cheryl,
Bobby.
we see now that Bobby Gardner is the other member of the board who's currently coming in. Hey, Bobby.
No problem.
That's all right.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Bob.
Make sure the chair is stable. Is this chair okay for you? Do you want to?
I'm good, stuff.
There. Hey, Bobby.
So we have
I-
Cheryl joining us. Oh, I'm still against that, okay.
I would add that I do have some concerns about what is impacting seniors in all citizens in the town of Ayer because of the closure of Neshoba Hospital, and also concerned about the continuing impact of the COVID pandemic. We say the pandemic is over. I assure you it isn't. It is far from over. I consult at a hospital in the morning, and the unit I consult on remotely is closed to admissions because there's so much COVID out there. So wash your hands, wear masks, and keep your distance. But I think that the impact of how we've changed our lives is really important. I also recognize that the council is advising the senior center on a process of maybe having a new senior center, and I think that's great. But it entails a lot of planning and work and citizen input, and I'm happy to share my ideas.
Yeah, that'd be great. That you need a lot of hands on that project.
Yeah.
I'm really concerned also about senior mental health. I started consulting with Aging Services of North Central Mass. I consult with them 2 hours a week. They have a state-funded grant to do behavioral health outreach to homebound seniors, which is really important. It's long overdue for that agency to expand and to broaden their mental health capabilities. So it's an early process. So
Such an important need.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Bobby had a question.
Yeah.
And report to, if you're concerned about the closure of the Ayer Hospital, I had the ambulance ride after it closed on a new road. And road Council on Aging, the rural hospital
Mhm.
and road zero. And I had to say that to get out of there. I get kidnapped.
That's a long ambulance ride over to Lowell. Yeah.
Sure is, especially when you're in pain.
Yeah. Particularly when I want to do what I want to say.
Yeah,
I thought it was a hard thing, and we forced you to go lower. Which was a good choice, I guess.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I support your condition. Is there anything else you would suggest doing with the, Ayer hospital? Rather than reopening
I think, Cheryl, I think, Bobby was asking whether you had any ideas about what other uses other than as an inpatient hospital you might foresee
Oh,
for.
I see urgent care, I see community health center. I mean, there's any number of things the city of Fitchburg did when they closed Burbank Hospital. That whole site is an oncology, that is a vibrant use of property, but you know, it's just the matter of who's got the money and who's gonna come forward and put these steps into practice. I know the physician practices are still open there, I believe. The medical building and the nursing home is still there, so it makes sense that a community health center would be long overdue. You know, that could meet the needs of people of various incomes. We also have some immigrants in town. I mean, where are those folks getting their primary care? I mean, there's a lot of opportunities. I don't know if there's federal money out there, or there will be federal money, but that's how Burbank, that's how that community health center in Fitchburg got developed. It was through federal funds.
Right.
So, just a thought.
And having Fitchburg be our closest community health center is really difficult, especially for the most vulnerable of our clients that would want to use it. It's almost, but not almost, it's completely out of reach for them. So, yeah, I think that would be a great.
Try
use of
getting
it.
there in the winter, going up that hill.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Cheryl, my name is Mary Markham, and I'm just sort of looking at all of your experience in those types of things.
Mhm.
You didn't like the bottle in my face, Kate?
yes, I'm just using the bottle.
And knowing that we are looking at sort of the, potentially a new senior center in town, from your experience, what type of outreach would you like to see, or could you help with or suggest?
I would suggest courting private donors. I know that there was a private donor that paid for the senior center in Townsend. He is now in heaven. So I don't know if anyone is taken over, if it was a foundation or if it was his personal generosity. I think he also funded Broughton Hill, the new.
Do you think those two things are related?
I absolutely do. I think that looking at federal money, you know, I don't know who writes the grants for the town. Because the grant writing is a specific, I am not a grant writer. I've participated in input in proofreading grants and throwing in my 2 cents, but I'm not a grant writer. Far from it. I'm also not a fundraiser, but fundraising is, I don't know, at the town level, whether there's been some fundraising for this, or are we looking for just taxpayer funded?
So I think a lot of that is in process right now. The way that process works is the town will have to authorize spending for the full dollar amount because no grants are guaranteed, but there are efforts underway to apply for state and federal funding, as well as approaching donors. As a member of the COA board, you wouldn't be a part of any of the fundraising efforts because it's considered a conflict of interest. But I certainly think that there's a lot of things that the COA board could do. I think that was more your question.
It was
Like,
my question was more like
as a
outreach,
COA board. Yeah.
from that outreach to, say, other members of the community in town. Sort of what from your experience would you suggest, or could you see?
Well, we've got a good industrial base in Ayer. That's why I moved here. You know, our tax rates are a little bit less harsh than other communities that don't have a solid industrial base. And because there's a lot of industry, maybe there's some opportunity to secure funding from private industry. I mean, some of the businesses in Ayer have been very generous to the Spanish American Center in Leominster.
And how do you think you would roll your personal or professional experience in aging services into the advisory role for me as the director of the senior center.
I think I would be available if you ever had a question. I've got a background that's pretty strong in mental health, not specifically senior mental health. That's kind of a branch that I've developed, but I'm really good at networking. I sit on the GATE team for the city of Gardner, and GATE is Gardner Area Interagency Team. So, I try to keep my ear to the ground, so to speak, with you can't practice social work in a vacuum. So you have what affects children and the disabled and mental health affects, it trickles down through the whole culture and the whole environment. As you can probably see by my resume, I have a real interest in, minority, non-English proficient folks, newcomers, new arrivals, getting settled and feeling part of the community.
Great.
Mental health services, my forte,
That's wonderful, because I think that's something that as a senior center, we could really stand to grow in terms of our ability to network, our ability to provide even just basic educational programs that's definitely on my list of growth areas. So I think that your expertise in that area would be a real asset.
Great.
Any other
Plus supporting other people on the council, just, a social support.
Great.
Like I said, I've lived in Ayer for 16 years, but because I'm homebound, it can be pretty isolating. Ayer's a great community. My husband is also a senior. So get two opinions for the price of one.
Any other questions for Cheryl before we let her go? Or do you have any questions for us about
So you folks meet on a monthly basis
Yeah.
on the Tuesday? Is this a designated time you ever meet in the evenings, or is it always at 1 o'clock?
It's typically the second Tuesday of the month at 2 p.m. We're
At 2
meeting an
p.m.
hour earlier today to
Okay.
accommodate participating in the library flu clinic.
Okay, great. Well, I'll try to, if I know that ahead of time, depending on what you folks decide, whether you want me on the council or not, I'll block off my schedule. Because I see clients remotely in the afternoon and on Saturdays. So I will make time when I know your meetings are. Perfect.
Wonderful.
Well, it was a pleasure meeting everybody.
Nice to see you.
Nice meeting you, Cheryl. Thank you.
All right. So I will hear from who about this?
Yeah, I mean, you can stay online. It's a public meeting.
You're welcome to stay on. We're gonna go through the rest of the agenda now, but yeah, you're welcome to stay on. You have to
I just
hop off,
wanna-
that's fine too.
Are there any other questions? for
process,
Cheryl?
I guess it's
I
just
got
asking
another
about the
question.
Oh,
What would
yeah.
you recommend, I think the chairman for interpreting my question was inartfully worded, the former chairman. And what would you recommend you do with the hospital situation?
I mean, it's like to try and get it reopened or just to do with the building itself?
Just to do with the building itself,
Yeah,
try to get it reopened, anything. I was thinking about hiring counsel down in Texas, a bankruptcy specialist. And we'll see, we could do for a set decision by the judge.
That, if you would be key to that one, Bobby, I think that one's beyond my individual reach, but not a bad idea. So,
Yeah.
Might open as another. Something
There
else,
should be
but not
probably
do it
stay.
again.
I guess it's, and I know Carly's on the line as well, and Carly's the assistant town manager. Does anybody know what the process is from here? Is it?
Well, I think it is that we would, I'm prepared to make a motion to ask the select board to support support Cheryl's interest in being on the board and to move at their next meeting to approve that.
So, yes,
Okay,
the appointment happens by the select board.
I knew that.
They frequently ask that it's not required that we endorse the candidate, but when we do, they like to hear that.
Alright,
So,
Making
motion?
yeah, so I'll make a motion that we,
Second. I second the motion.
okay, so the motion will read if, that, we, the Air Council on Aging, support the nomination of Cheryl Boise to be a member of the Council on Aging Board of Directors
Yeah,
for,
I
to
second
fill the unexpired term, which is due to expire at the end of June 2025.
Yeah, I second that motion,
Okay.
discussion purposes.
All right, any,
Thank you.
And highly endorse it.
So I think you would,
any further discussion?
yeah, so Marge, I think you would want to call for discussion and then a vote.
Well, I'm gonna adjourn and give you guys time to discuss, so you don't feel like I'm hovering. But hopefully I'll hear from the selectmen, and maybe I'll be joining you next month if they give me the thumbs up.
Okay,
Sounds great, thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
everybody, don't forget to vote, 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 vote.
that's right.
That's right.
All right, take care. It's great meeting you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Nice meeting you on Zoom.
So are you opening discussion, Marge?
Yeah, no, let's open the discussion.
I don't have a vote in this, but I think she is a wonderful candidate. She has expertise that the rest of our board does not have and will help round out the skill set of advisors for the position, I mean, for the COA board. And, you know, I don't think it's an issue that she would join only remotely. We certainly have the capability. If this was a year ago, it would have been more difficult. But I think she's got good ideas. She will lend a different perspective. So I would support you guys in supporting her candidacy.
I echo from the director. I echo director's comments.
No, that's my only concern, is that she's not going to be available for anything except to.
Well,
I think, you know, and we had as a group not too long ago, basically said that, you know, you have to do a couple of different events. We didn't specify
Right.
how, for the volunteer aspect of it. I do think that that's important. I guess. If this is fulfilling an unexpired term that expires in 8 months, it gives us an opportunity to see if that works as well.
But why can't she take the bus?
well, that,
The
Well-
bus is able to get.
So I'll just say you have to be careful in terms of. I don't know what her disability is. She didn't say that she's disabled and she's homebound. So I think you just have to take that at face value, that she is homebound. So, you know, I think, does anyone have the policies and procedures document right in front of them?
It is on the website.
We can look and see how it was worded, but as an example, I was thinking she's gonna have really unique insights to what it's like to be a homebound senior. And there may be ways that, while still fulfilling the requirements of our policies and procedures, maybe she can lead a program from home. Maybe she can inform our current practices on how we reach out to that group. That segment of older adults, which I think would be really valuable. I mean, will she be able to man a tables at a town meeting? No, but I think she would be able to contribute in other ways.
And I do agree with that, because that homebound aspect, especially during certain months of the year, you know, during winter months, it's even more so than just those that are typically homebound because they can't get out. So to have somebody that's got that, and I hadn't thought about, to be honest with you, that has that.
At least 4
Experience.
times a year. For volunteer.
Yeah, I don't think we say specifically what.
And
Yeah, what is the language in the policy?
members are expected to volunteer for senior center events or functions.
Okay. So again, this is your vote, but, I would suggest that there are ways that she could participate in an event from home, like, for example, when it comes time to do a townwide mailing, you know, maybe she could spearhead the effort of the labels on the postcards, because that could be done from anywhere. Or she could lead we've got this hybrid programming grant, and I haven't been able to get very many people interested in conversation group, for example. Maybe she would want to facilitate a program rather than attending it, she could facilitate it. And
People don't
I mean,
use
her-
the computers, the older people.
But-
Most older people don't use the.
Well,
computers.
but that's part of,
which is what makes her even better qualified. That is her, as a disabled person, her facility with managing the technology that allows her to professionally conduct her job, to volunteer for things. She knows that it can be done and she knows how to do it.
Well, and
So she could be a pretty good example to others.
in guiding us in how to get that across
Right.
to others.
Mhm.
And how to, in
Yeah.
using electronic devices.
well, and that's the thing. So we've got the hybrid programming grant, but we have not done as much with it as I would have liked, because which is hopefully changing in the middle of this month, but, because that's just been an area that we've been slow to grow in. So, I see potential there. I understand and completely get the hesitation. There's different.
But
I don't see it as a
think she
roadblock.
should be. Giving you advice as a board member on mental health. She said she,
Oh, I interpreted that to mean, y'all are advisory to me, right? You guys advise me on policies and things like that. I interpreted that to mean, like, how might the center better tend to mental health education issues? Because that's her professional area. And did other people hear that differently? That's how I
heard
interpreted.
that. And I thought, that's Brittany's area.
I didn't hear her say delivering mental.
No,
Oh, gotcha.
I didn't
Yeah, no,
take it
it
that way.
would not, it would definitely not be her role to
She should
deliver
not
mental
be
health
doing
services.
that.
No.
Right, no,
Because
no, I
No
meant,
senior wants to come in here and say, oh, she's talking to Katie about.
No, I
No.
didn't hear that. I
No.
didn't hear that. I took it more, and, right, it's an advisory. So it'd be more, you know,
And I
that
sus-
as opposed to actual.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did not, I didn't,
I suspect that Cheryl knows where the ethical and professional lines are in terms of her
I would
professional,
hope,
what's that?
Well, you
I
just,
would
I mean,
hope.
you take a look at the number of different area committees she had sat on and those types of things, and those have all have to have had that type of confidentiality or guidelines, borderlines of that, and especially if, as she said, she's been remote too, for a lot of it. You know, it's,
Mhm,
it's not a full year.
mhm.
This is, in reality, it's 8 months.
and maybe this is where Carly can pop in, because there isn't a term limit, there aren't term limits on it, and the current procedure is when your term is up, Carly inquires, would you like to continue on? So I don't really think you can look at it as like a trial basis.
Well, I mean,
Can
even
I
for her,
just
it might
point
be.
out, we also put on this, on ours. The town's been doing 1 year, but after, the town's been doing 1 year.
No.
For
There
what?
is the-
But we
It
put,
is Carly, so
yeah, we put in our mission statement and our rules and policies that will have a 3-year.
It is a
Three-
3-year term, but what happens, Marge, is that the terms vacate before they fulfill the 3 years. So this
Right.
term, it doesn't matter when the person leaves, it's actually the length of the term. So this one expires in June 30th of 25. And what I do in May is reach out to everyone on that list and say, are you interested in being reappointed by the select board? And 99.999% of the time, there's no issue because we're not going to turn away a volunteer for the town.
Right.
So
Okay,
unless there's some gross, major issue where there are ethics violations or open meeting law violations, we're going to reappoint folks that are interested and want to serve the town.
Okay,
So Carly, on the staggering of the terms, I think that the terms, the term end dates for all of our terms, the stagger has gotten a little confused.
We corrected that in June. So right now you have a term that expires in there's 3 terms in 25, 1 in 26, 1 in 27. But one of them will be shortened to get it on a different year, basically.
Right, but I don't think the proper stagger, you should have 3 expiring in the same year.
Right, but we needed 2 years to correct the stagger. So we're only in year 1 of that.
okay, so Carly, if this person goes on, she'll be going out in 25?
Yeah, she would be up for reappointment in June 30th, on
With
June 30th.
Dennis and me and Bobby.
Just note, Bob was reappointed to a 2-year term in May to correct that stagger.
Okay,
Yeah, so last year he was the only one up for reappointment, it looks like. Oh, Mary
really?
too,
yeah,
but we made his length Bob's 2 years. And then once, on June 30th of 26, he'll be eligible for his 3 years again. We just
okay,
had to stagger it to make it so they vary.
I don't want to be a lame duck, but I'm not interested in serving lifelong.
oh, come on. Okay,
Well,
okay, so
Right.
she'd go on until June, okay, thank you.
So the motion remains on the floor.
Mhm.
Any further discussion?
I'm supposed
Move the question?
to move the question.
Move the question to, I guess, a vote. Correct?
Yep.
Okay. Do we have a motion for a vote?
There's a motion on the table, then it's.
There's a motion for the motion to endorse and discussion.
We just did the discussion, so
We
you
did
just
discussion.
need to say all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none? Motion carries.
And Katie and all, what we would need to be, be helpful, you send us a letter or an email even is fine, just, saying that you took this vote today. And then we can, if I get that letter or email by tomorrow, I can get it on the select board agenda for the 15th.
You want that from Katie?
But either, it doesn't matter.
Me,
No, it
okay.
can't come from Katie.
I can do it,
Yeah,
okay,
well, Katie can say the board took a vote to,
okay,
Oh.
but I can
Yeah.
do that too.
Okay.
yeah, if we could get it tomorrow, that would be helpful.
I will do that, yep.
Okay, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Carly.
I abstain, so there's 3 of you.
You abstain.
I
Same,
abstain.
okay.
So 3-0 with 1 abstention.
Yes,
So did you want to write the email, send the?
I
email
will
to
do
Carly?
that tonight for this.
Great, so we're gonna have a new board member. One thing that I think she may also be helpful in terms of transportation,
Needs.
yeah, in terms of. Is a wheelchair van not an option, or, I mean, she must get to the hospital some way. So I mean, I think.
I wouldn't feel comfortable speculating about that during an open meeting, but I think, yes, agreed. All the different varieties of transportation and what we would be looking for in a second vehicle.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of places where I feel like her personal and professional experience would be valuable for the board.
Mhm. Okay, so that's done and I will do that, okay. Back to the board. Goal and ability to move the senior center forward, you guys have met, do you have anything that we can do to help you move it forward?
No, I think right now we're really just at the beginning of this public input process.
Mhm.
And so anything that the COA board can do to help increase awareness of the project and assist with the public input efforts would be very, very helpful.
Okay,
The draft one pager that you had with you on Saturday, we want to have the building committee as a whole kind of take a look at that and read it, and then we can go for mass distribution.
Yes.
That's the idea.
So my goal for that is, I'll have to add that on the floor for, no, it'll be on the agenda for next week's
Yeah.
building committee meeting. To have everyone take a look at it, to really define the messaging, and that's my goal, is it's always easier to edit than it is to create. So to come up with maybe 5 main talking points
Mhm.
that are in that one pager, and then to communicate that to the COA board, to the Friends of the Ayer Senior Center, so everyone's talking about hitting the same major points.
so maybe
With
if
the
you
same
say
message.
a month to the top 2 priority points.
I'm sorry, say that again?
If you had 2 priority points you wanted to really get across to the public,
Right,
then we could work on those.
Yep.
Because sometimes you hit the public with so much
Mhm.
that it's overwhelming.
right.
So if you can,
Yeah, agreed. That's why I was trying to make it come up with a consistent, clear. The one pager, but a set of
right,
consistent messages, so that
right.
depending on where someone is in their understanding of it, they're all getting the same messaging. So as an example for the COA board, there's a lot of subgroups of people that we could make presentations to. If you belong to a particular group that, a church, a civic organization, a hobby club, that sort of thing. And would be able to get me or a group of us into one of those meetings to help educate and raise awareness about what will be coming to a future town meeting. I think that would be very helpful. Let's see, then, this doesn't have to all just come from me, but, also,
Rough timeline for us.
Well,
And I say
that's
it's really rough, just sort of, people are,
It is, and I think that, and we talked a little about this on Saturday, clearly, clearly it's not gonna be on the town meeting warrant for October.
Yeah.
Right now, it looks like we're looking at a special town meeting, which the select board and the town manager have both kind of voiced support for the idea anyway. Now, the date of that meeting is kind of the drop dead date for us. Katie had a great idea that outside of the town meeting coming up in October, we could have a table, distribute information on the new building with a definitive date for a town meeting, a town forum, a large thing, perhaps held at town hall, where we will kind of unveil to a broad audience where we are in this process. And the date for that, Katie, you about mid-November?
Yeah, so I'm gonna get in contact with the town manager's office to determine what's available in early November, and whether, just to get some advice about whether a Great Hall meeting or something at the school would be better. But I'm thinking, that's October 28th is town meeting. So if it was the first or second week of November, something that's staying far away from Thanksgiving, that way, before the holidays, we will have had Newton Street Festival as in terms of broader community outreach. We have our regular senior center updates, but we'd have been to the Newton Street Festival, to the Ayer Library's flu clinic, to the town, having a table at town meeting, and then in a bigger public forum before the holidays, and then presuming that we are looking for a January or early February special town meeting. Then after the holidays, then we would go for another round of several bigger public forums. But a mix of big and small meetings, I think is a solid strategy of the way to go. And some of those smaller things could go on through the holidays. If people have a coffee or a tea at their house, or the Rotary Club will still meet, for example, in November or December, or a particular church. I don't know if there's a council of churches in town, or if it's just each individual church. Those are all things, I'm happy to go out and give the presentation. I just need assistance with who are the key groups in town, who are the contact people from those, and how do I get on the agendas for that kind of that legwork. I think would be something that's very helpful in the COA board. Because I will go wherever you tell me, just not the week between Christmas and New Year's.
Well, if we have that one pager, at least, I mean, just even in casual conversation, you can stick it in somebody's hand.
Right.
Which is the advantage of that. I'm just thinking that at Pleasant Street School, they do their on Wednesday morning, the 16th. October 16th, Wednesday morning. They do it every weekend, so I could plan to go there next Wednesday. The woman who lives there, she works another Barbara.
Yeah.
Barbara Riley. I think I have her number.
Barbara.
There are a lot of them.
There's a lot of Barbaras. When in doubt.
Just say Barbara.
I know it. That's what I was thinking.
So I'll reach out to Barbara or walk up to and I'll just, I was there previously. So I'll just stop up for their coffee on Wednesday and let them know where we're at with this.
Okay.
And part of this is kind of informing them of where we are in the process, but part of it is hearing the questions coming back and what are people wondering about, or what are that's kind of the more.
Yeah, what about the residents meeting here?
That's what I said last time.
I don't do.
You mean the people who live here? Yep, I have been offering probably every other month an update here in the building.
But you're gonna have coffee and donuts here at 10 o'clock.
Right, yep, and I'm happy to, yeah, so November, I can put another another one of those.
Can't do it early here.
I've tried to do them across a variety of times, and
But I'm happy to come.
yeah.
Just not a Tuesday or Thursday.
Carly, can I ask, do you know whose permission do you need to have a table set out in front of town meeting?
I already got that taken care of.
Oh, you do?
Yep, that's already taken care of.
Okay.
So does anyone else have a group that they belong to that they would be willing to, or a group they'd be willing to reach out to?
I can reach out to the Rotary for you.
Rotary, okay, thank you.
Lions Club.
What?
Lions
Club.
Could you reach out to them? Okay.
I'll reach out to them.
And I'm happy to come whenever their meeting is. I will make that work, so.
Yeah, thank you.
And staffing at the table for town meeting, I can be there, or have you already arranged one?
I think that's fine if you'd like to, I haven't arranged for that. I have one Friends member that would like to be there, so I think if we had one Council on Aging board member, myself and a Friends member, you would count as a building committee member too.
Yeah, I'll be there, so,
Okay, all right, great, yeah, so,
And what
at
time?
least I plan to be at town meeting.
yeah.
Town meeting's usually what, 7?
Town meetings is it, Carly, is it 6 or 7, town meeting?
7.
7. So, I was thinking if we're set up by 6,
Mhm.
okay.
And the man rush will be at 6:45.
You got it.
And I don't anticipate lots of people to stop and ask lots of questions, but I would love to be able to hand people a one pager to look at
Yes.
that has the date for our public forum on it. Okay,
And to have pictures of the building, I mean,
Yes.
what you had down at Newton
Yeah,
Street, I think
yeah.
would be.
Yeah,
Yeah, you've been having it up in display at the help. They can see them. All right.
okay, want to move on to the old news?
No.
The ramp at Pleasant Street. I held off on the letter, emailing it, sending it because I could only find a draft letter. I don't know if Ken ever was sent a letter. You and I had worked on one.
Mhm.
I have that one ready to go, but I decided to hold it off and invite him to the November meeting.
Our November meeting,
Oh, November meeting.
okay, but I thought that the letter came from the disabilities. The letter
I
was sent by,
never got in my emails, I went back through and I only had a draft.
right, but none of us were on the Disabilities Commission, so I mean, I think we
That's
just
right.
have to trust
But
that Alan sent the email
I
to the
never-
Disabilities
oh,
Commission.
right, and on behalf,
Anyone that did not have a draft.
I know, but so I think Alan showed us the draft of what he was gonna send.
Okay,
And then he would have sent it, but we'd have to check with a member of the Disabilities Commission to make sure it went out, but,
and that's,
no,
right, but either way, I think. We kind of have to send
and
the letter and move
but we
forward,
had
right?
changed it, some, and I just said,
Okay.
okay, so
Alan's going,
do you?
Alan's going.
yes,
He is
Alan's
going,
gone.
yeah.
He's happy with it, yeah.
So, Marge, do you know Dave Cybor? He's the chair,
I know who he is.
but you don't know him, you've never met him.
I
or talked to
don't
him
know him
personally.
personally.
So just to add in, sorry, the
Yes.
Disabilities Commission currently does not have a quorum.
Yeah,
And,
But-
that was the committee Alan was working on, so they're not, I just wanna, let you guys know they're not regularly meeting right now. We are in the process of looking for members, but we also need to identify a staff member that can staff the committee.
yeah,
So I just wanted to put that out there.
yes, I knew that too,
But the letter was sent when they did in fact have a quorum and when the town was aware.
but we never heard from the Disability Commission.
Right, I think that's why we said that we were gonna write directly to
Right,
the Housing Authority. So that we could continue on that relationship since
which we never
it
heard,
going through the Disabilities Commission isn't gonna be able to move forward at this
and
point.
we
Is
never
that what?
heard from
I
Housing period.
didn't get that. That we would separately it would, I am unaware that we had felt that. Aside from what the Disabilities Commission had done, that we would act independently in reaching out to them.
You
But
guys,
if
you
there
guys
is-
voted for Marge at the last meeting. You guys voted for Marge to send a letter to
Yes,
Ken
asking
at the
for
housing,
follow-up.
asking for follow-up.
Right,
Yes,
yes,
so Marge didn't send it because she didn't know if the first letter got sent. And my point was just that I think whether the first letter got sent or not is irrelevant at this
Right.
point. If you guys want to follow up, you just need to follow up.
And Katie and I
but if the letter was
rewrote
never
the,
sent, there was nothing to follow
but
up.
Katie and I rewrote the letter And I just didn't do it yet because I figured this meeting was pretty packed anyway. To have Ken
I think
here.
to answer some of that, I think our presumption's gotta be that that letter was sent.
Yes, I think it
And
was.
that, you know, and it came from the Disabilities Committee or whatnot.
Right.
Maybe a reference to
Without
the Council
support.
on Aging.
Oh,
But,
absolutely.
so I don't think it's remiss of us
So
to
the
then
letter
say,
will go out.
hey, this
Yes.
letter, you know, we're just looking for some follow-up and whatnot, you know,
Yes,
just understanding where it's.
with the understanding that that initial letter has been sent.
Correct.
Yes,
But that letter will go out. Katie and I rewrote it,
okay,
took the original letter, re-diced.
Okay.
It
Just
will,
to remind.
but we
potentially
didn't-
what it is.
but I thought this meeting would be too packed to have Ken up in.
okay, so what do we want from Ken if he were to attend the meeting?
I'd
Just
like an
ask
update,
him to
Okay.
have where it is at, and that's what we asked him in the letter.
you know, where does it stand? Is it gonna
Yeah.
happen? What if any are the roadblocks?
Yeah.
For making it?
And so how do we formally invite him?
I have to let him.
In
It's
the
in the
letter?
letter that she was gonna send.
Oh, it's gonna be
Yeah.
one letter containing both things.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
Asking for an update, recapping what had
Mhm.
happened, asking for an update, and please give that update at our next meeting.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Got it.
Got it. Okay, so that will go out. Probably tomorrow. The COA conference, Katie had asked to put it in, it is October 23rd to 25th in Falmouth. The board members may attend if you hand out the material information before and after sessions.
Yeah, so that's a great meeting. I think several years ago, some of the board members had attended. Some of it's relevant, some of it's not. It is further away this year in Falmouth, so, but they're always looking for volunteers to, hand out the surveys and collect the surveys at the end of the session, and then that allows you guys to attend for free. So if you want, you can take a look at MCOA for Massachusetts Councils on Aging. MCOAonline.com. And that will have the program, of all the different sessions, the different times. Yeah, at the Seacrest, yep, in Falmouth. So if there was something you were interested in being not the facilitator per se, but the survey person. Then if you do that on a particular day, you can attend the rest of the conference for free, but you'd have to reach out to them directly to sign up for a volunteer slot. They're always looking for volunteers. And sometimes there's things that are really relevant for a COA board member about advocacy or about building projects, things like that. Some years there's not, but just
Beautiful hotel,
that it is.
all we done.
So, great.
Does anybody have any other new?
I think you had part D, the
Oh, I
evening
do have
gathering.
D. I am working off a different one. The evening gathering for seniors still working. Before you have a building committee meeting, we had talked about this. Having a light dinner. And maybe the friends and the COA could serve it. And do the cleanup or. So you can come in and have your meeting in here. And we could. clean up. But, and maybe draw some of those seniors that are still working.
Yeah, I don't disagree. It's not, something's gotta, you gotta do something to draw them in.
Right, right.
Can you speak up? So you-
Yeah, no, I was just saying about the seniors still working. And getting that early dinner before a building committee meeting. And maybe we can draw some other seniors in.
So is it that that prior to a building committee meeting, we would have, or prior to a council on aging board meeting?
No, prior
No.
to a building committee meeting.
If you're working
You
as
have a
seniors, not
6
coming
o'clock
to a.
meeting, and maybe we could have a 5 o'clock early dinner.
Now, that
With
being
the
said.
friends and the friends of the Ayer and the COA serving it.
I don't think 5 o'clock would work, because I think your seniors who are still working are probably getting out of work somewhere between 4:30 and 5.
Or maybe
So
you
if
could
you're
do a
looking-
6:30 meeting.
You know, so you're looking at something around that time.
Oh,
So I'm kind of thinking out loud here. What if, rather than before a building committee meeting, if we did a young senior targeted public input session? Where come down to the senior center for a meal, a 6 o'clock meal and a 6:30 meeting, or a 6:30 meal and a 7 o'clock public input session. With the idea, we could do a targeted outreach. It would have to be by mail, because I don't have phone numbers or email addresses for a lot of the younger seniors, but we could do it via mail. For the 55 to 65 group, and ask them what they would want out of a senior center. Like, that could be a targeted,
good, great.
Wine and cheese?
well, I don't think we can do wine and cheese, but we could do fake wine and cheese. How about that?
Yeah. And again,
And
we can
sparkling
use the site
cider.
at the corner.
Well, but that's the difference, you know, as I was sort of saying on the sidelines, that's the difference for public input sessions for the building project in a small scale, because if you wanted to host a coffee or a wine and cheese night in your home for your 10 best friends or 10 neighbors, then you can
You
choose
think
to
I get to
have.
double digits?
Yeah, but you could choose to serve wine or beer or something at it. I don't think I can do that at all in the municipal building. I think you can apply for a 1-day liquor license outside of the municipal building, but I just don't think that would be necessary for the public input process.
You could
But-
stop them at the new stop sign, Dennis.
What's that?
Stand out at that new stop sign near your house.
I do like the idea of trying to engage, coming back to the main point. I do like the idea of engaging younger seniors to see what they would want
Yeah.
out of,
Which is the youngest senior? How old is the youngest senior?
55.
I would ask them 55 to 65.
Yeah.
Jeez,
And again, we can put it on the
I'm
corner.
already younger senior anymore.
Well, right.
Well, I mean, the Commonwealth considers 60 a senior, but if you get to that 55 group, as your.
Yeah.
You figure it's gonna take a couple of years to build the building, they're coming into that
Well,
age
oh, yeah.
or
We
what,
should pick a date and
so.
go with it.
What about,
We're looking at November on it.
Well, we know the town meeting's coming up, but
But I was hoping that the Friends and the COA could work together and
right,
kind of.
so after November 5th,
Mhm.
oh,
maybe. So I'm thinking, so the November 11th is a holiday.
Mhm.
So I was thinking the 12th, 13th or 14th for that larger public forum, and again, I need to. Check in with the town manager's office about availability of buildings and things, but. You know, I think we could do both of those. It might be confusing if they're both in the same week.
Yeah. it would be.
So. Maybe like the 6th or the 7th.
Well, the larger one, mid-November. Is kind of targeted at the entire town.
The entire town, yeah.
When is the? Yeah, I don't know,
So,
first week in December?
Yeah, I mean, maybe the first week of December, because I think there'll be equal numbers of people who are happy and sad on November 5th and 6th. So if I could set myself up for success the following week, I would like that. So, and then we get into the 2 weeks that are looking forward to Thanksgiving. So yeah, how about the first week of December?
I think that's better.
So the third and the fourth and the fifth.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
actually think that's probably. That takes it out of sort of the holiday too. We're still kind of in the holiday season, but.
We think. And children.
Is you're looking at,
We're looking at the third, fourth, and fifth right now. Does anyone have a preference?
And this again is for a
Dinner here
dinner
for younger seniors and a
presentation.
presentation, yes.
Where
I think
you,
the dinner's gonna,
you having it?
like a sit-down
Yeah,
dinner.
either one's fine.
would you do a sit down dinner or would you do it more like
Wine and cheese.
well, yeah, using that type of like cocktail party type of
Yeah, yeah.
atmosphere, maybe. Have the appetizers or that type of
I
stuff,
think I think that.
that style of.
The greater informality, more time, people aren't sitting in a seat, they're mingling, more time to,
That's good.
yeah.
And on election day on November 5th.
How about the third?
We're talking about
We're
December,
talking December, Bob.
How about Tuesday the third?
Tuesday the third, that
I
works for
don't know,
me.
what do you think?
Tuesday the third. Here. At 6,
Mhm.
I'm just thinking about what the concerns are, would they need to be home to feed the
Then you
kids?
have the fourth to fall back on if it snows or.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
I suspect many of them will be empty nesters.
okay.
Mhm.
Or kids are old enough to fend for themselves.
Yeah, yeah.
There's always DoorDash.
Factor.
All right, so
Have it
December
delivered all
third.
ready to go in the microwave.
All right, great.
Young senior night.
Yeah,
Who's it gonna be?
And
It's gonna be December third. We probably wanna say what, like 6:30?
5:30.
No,
no, I think six, if you
I
haven't
would-
I
arrived,
would say 6 or 6:30.
but
Yeah.
if you haven't arrived like six and you just have that out. and
Well,
then-
on what days do most
They can
people work from
start.
home now? Do we have that?
Tuesday's probably a good option for that.
Work from home?
Yeah, but not everybody works in a career that works from home, so.
Right.
No, I know, we're not gonna get, no, I understand.
And they're also
I mean, my
forcing
daughter
more
works
people
from home,
back.
but she has to go like some days to Gardner. Because she does,
All right, so
There's also a lot of
December
companies
3rd,
are forcing.
I go
back
at 6
to work
p.m.,
at least.
yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
okay,
Alrighty.
so. Anybody else have anything new, old?
I emailed Robert regarding Mart and attempts to kind of move transportation forward.
Mhm.
I went on the Mart website and they had previously had public, I thought that their monthly or quarterly meetings were public meetings for input from the community, as any public meeting would be. But I couldn't find on the website where their public meetings were held or when they were held or how they were held.
They're
I don't know.
actually, Dennis, if you don't, they're doing everything remotely now.
Right, well, okay, but. I
Like
didn't see
solely
any-
remotely, sorry. They don't have an in-person component anymore that I'm aware of.
And, okay, all right. And
But I
that's
can
a-
get that schedule for you and send it to you, because they're definitely open meetings.
Yeah, if you could do that, that'd be great, okay, I guess that's okay then, all right, yeah, that'd be helpful.
Sure, no problem.
And again, it's simply an effort to add another voice to get a
Right.
second van and a second full-time driver.
And some initial emails went back and forth with Bruno, the head of Mart. And the delineation that was necessary was whether we were adding to our service hours or whether we were just hiring to replace within our existing allotment of hours. And so, because I said expanding the hours, there's now some paperwork that has to go back and forth. So, I think I am the one who needs to write up a draft memo for Robert to send to Bruno.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So if nobody, anything else?
Yeah, my friend.
Katie, directors.
okay. All right, so did everybody have a chance to read my director's?
I did.
I did not,
Okay.
I was here when you.
Oh, okay. So I can just hit the highlights then. So the town will begin tracking, supplies and personnel expenses that are related to the closure of the, hospital. So stay tuned for that. We are aware of that or are going to be tracking that as well. We had what I would say is probably pretty standard attendance for September. 114 seniors came 526 times. Our average daily attendance was 26 people, but with a range of 18 to 33. We didn't actually. Let me go back and check that because that shouldn't say 33 because we had 53 at, maybe that's a typo. Let me just, I'll go back and fix that. It should say 18 to 53 because we had 53 at Pleasant Street for the picnic. That average daily attendance comes out of the My Senior Center software, so that doesn't include the 15 Meals on Wheels clients and the 74 van riders that we had in the month. So that's average daily attendance is for in-person programming. As always, I list the special programs for the month. Coming up on October 17th, we'll be doing a train the trainer session with cyber seniors for anyone who is interested in participating. Great. You can get certified by them on, how to teach tech skills to older adults in an age sensitive way. I'm hoping to get, I posted it all over social media and hoping to get some high schoolers interested as well, because that's part of their model is an intergenerational teaching setup. So hopefully we will have some people interested in that. And I'll follow up with the schools on that. It will be at 3 o'clock,
And,
the 17th from 3 to 6 p.m.
and how do you have to officially sign up ahead of time or do you just,
Yes, I would like you to do that if you're gonna attend. Yep.
how you going through that?
Yes.
All right, I'm
Yep, sign up
attending.
with me. And so, let's see, I have a new set of craft instructors that's going to be beginning in the fall. Watercolor has been very successful. As far as the hybrid programming brand, it's definitely been, having the owl has been useful for our board and committee meetings. But would love to see more opportunities to take advantage of that hybrid platform. So I will continue to work on that going forward. Staff provided outreach services to 22 seniors, a total of 35 times in September. Most of them related to home care and home care management. This month, although there's the whole laundry list of other topics that always come up. We did the Newton Street Festival on Saturday. Many thanks to the COA board members and Friends members and the building committee members who assisted with that. I think it was very successful. Most of the people that came into the booth were people that are not our average everyday users, which means that was successful in reaching out to a broader group of people. Let's see, Mary Ellen is continuing to participate in regional outreach worker activity, in addition to networking and partnering with continuing education opportunities with our partner agencies. And that's important so that, knowledge and programs shift rapidly. So keeping a pulse on what's available as a referral source for our seniors is incredibly important. Piece of good news, Loaves and Fishes is honoring the Ayer Senior Center as their outstanding community partner of the year. So that is fantastic, though all of the staff are involved in registering folks, coordinating folks, all of those things. I just want to give a huge shout out to Sam, who's sometimes delivering in excess of 100 bags of groceries a week. So he does that with a tremendous amount of patience and grace. So I am very grateful for Sam.
Congratulations to you and the staff.
Thank you. So we'll be attending their annual dinner to participate in that. So that would be great. Let's see, we served, see, and I think that this is not right. I'm gonna go back and fix it. Usually we're a little over 300 meals, and there would be no reason for it to be lower for September, because we did have a good turnout at Pleasant Park Picnic. So 77 seniors got, I think that actually should say more like 320 meals. But the meals program is popular. We've kind of reached this place where we have 24 seats to fill. We typically have 22 to 24 people, but then, you know, illness happens, appointments happen. So a few people drop out, but then a few people come in without signing up. So we usually end up in that 20 to 24 range for pretty much all of our meals now. We're going to start experimenting with bulk desserts going forward. Barbara has been so wonderful to provide desserts for us a couple of days a week on a volunteer basis. But we also want to be able to start offering morning coffee and pastries. So she's going to start transitioning towards that in support of the Friends fundraising efforts. And then we're going to, don't worry, no one will be without dessert. We're going to start looking at bulk dessert ordering, like restaurant style bulk dessert ordering.
Now,
So
could you order that from Costco or Whole Foods?
I was gonna
Like
suggest.
their cakes, cupcakes?
so you could order a cupcake from Costco, but they're like as big as my head. Those cupcakes are huge.
Right.
And you can't. That's a good question, whether or not Costco will deliver their bakery goods. I'm not sure they do. They have a limited set of things that they send via mail. So, yes, I can go pick those things up, but typically, it's a matter of finding the appropriate fit, and then someone's got to take 2 hours out of the day to go to
Okay.
Costco.
I have a
Hey,
great
we're
chef.
in Pittsburgh all the time at BJ's.
Oh, yeah, that's my chef, BJ.
BJ?
My chef,
Yes,
BJ.
I like it. I like it.
Oh, the whole-
Phenomenal job.
Yeah.
BJ's every
The
other
Whole Foods
day.
Yeah, I go there
chantilly
all the
lace
time.
cake is evidently
Usually
the thing,
pretty
so.
Is it? Yeah, I don't know that we're working on a Whole Foods
Yeah.
budget, but I
No.
like it. Yeah, no, Whole Foods is expensive.
What's that?
Whole Foods is expensive.
It
Yeah.
is, but if you're only doing it once a week.
Yeah, but once a week for 24 people is still a lot.
Well, you only need two
Yeah.
cakes. Yeah. All right.
But the idea was that it wouldn't necessarily be just cake. It would be other
Different.
things. Yeah. So we'll be experimenting with it. Stay tuned. Yeah.
The brownies.
So, all right, let's see. As always, we have a host 13 volunteers who worked 135 hours last month. We are so incredibly thankful for them. We are working on next week to expand the volunteer opportunities that are available here at the senior center, as well as the senior tax work-off opportunities to include a handyman or a home companion program.
Thank you, the seniors, volunteers.
Oh, yes, I did. Yeah, I'm very thankful for our volunteers. They work tirelessly for us. Let's see, 135 hours last month. So I'm very, very thankful for them as well.
Usually they have it in like.
Is it?
April?
Yes,
I
April.
think.
Oh, I'm sorry,
April
we're
is like
asking
that
about a
volunteer-
specific,
It's
yeah.
like volunteer month,
Yeah,
so.
Volunteer
they do that,
appreciation
yeah.
in April. Yep.
thank you.
Yep. And then, so more updates to come on a handyman, or home companion volunteer, slot. And then, in terms of the building committee, we've really talked about that, already. So, then transportation, 74 riders, a total of 368 rides in September. We are noticing an increase in utilization of the Leominster Fitchburg appointment slots on Monday mornings and Acton Concord on Friday mornings. Last month, we added Littleton and Westford to Wednesday mornings. We always have takers for the.
When you do that,
Mhm.
if you go into Littleton or Westford, and the van takes them anywhere in Littleton or West, you know, if they're going to Market Basket or if they're going to the Emerson Health Center or
Mhm.
whatever. So if they're going to Concord, they can go to the, I don't know, whatever store they want to go to, or they can go to the Emerson Hospital.
Yep,
Or is
the
that Baker
senior
Street?
center, yeah, Baker Avenue Extension falls under Concord as well. That's always been the policy of the senior center, is that we take people where they need to go.
Yeah.
So it's not limited to medical or shopping. I would say medical and shopping are probably 90% of what we do. But if someone is going to the hairdresser, the bank, the post office, we do that as well. Someone has a new restaurant they want to try out, they are welcome to do that. When we have had folks who live here at the housing complex, if they have advanced to like an assisted living or higher level of care, we have often taken folks who live here to go visit their friend in their new dwelling. So it's really
Yeah,
whatever
no, that's
people
great.
need the appointment for. But I would say that medical and grocery shopping is the bulk of what we do.
Have you noticed a different set of riders, or are they the same riders just going different places?
Right now, it is the same riders. We've maybe added 3 or 4 new riders this month. But mostly the same riders. I will be curious to watch that trend as the weather gets
Yeah.
worse. Or as people try it and think, oh, I can do this, it'll be fine, and then they realize what a hassle it is,
Yeah.
and so maybe they don't do it the second time. So it's a matter of how, and of course, a lot of people, just because the hospital closed at the end of August didn't mean that they had an appointment coming up right up in September. So it's,
Yeah,
I think it will take several months to really gauge what the new need will be. Let's see, last but not least, today, for volunteer opportunities. And as I said before, we are working the process to try and get a new driver and dispatcher and a secretary. So today from 3 to 5, we will have a table at the Ayer Library Food Clinic. October 17th, as I mentioned, from 3 to 6 is the Cyber Seniors Tech Certification class. If you are interested in becoming a teacher, let me know. You're welcome to come.
When's that? Kate?
October 17th.
Okay.
From 3 to 6.
Mhm.
And then we also have, is it the 6th? The Oktoberfest is coming up. I don't have a newsletter right in front of me. Is that the 16th?
The
The lunch at 15th?
I have one right here. No, I don't, but I had it. I can tell you, it's on my calendar. It is the 16th.
Okay, so 16th. So that day will be hopefully a very busy luncheon. So if there's you'll have that. Okay, great,
I'm
thanks.
here.
So some additional assistance
What's
for that. We're doing an Oktoberfest luncheon, so we'll have
is this new?
bratwurst and yes.
Bratwurst.
Bratwurst, peppers, onions, sauerkraut. We'll have the
A new
traditional.
A new pub in?
Yeah, I wish. We'll have Oktoberfest themed music going. Bands are really hard to have in here. I've tried it before. It's really difficult to get the sound right. It's usually really abrasive.
With the
So,
tuba, you mean?
yeah, the tuba especially. There's no distancing yourself from a tuba in here. But then we're also doing a selection of non-alcoholic beers.
I see.
So,
Oh, like Munich Fest, like in Munich in Germany.
yeah, Oktoberfest, yep.
I see.
Yep.
After St. Patrick's Day, nothing, you know.
Yeah.
It all blends together.
Yeah.
You can get German folk music on the.
Oh, yeah, we'll have German music
Yeah.
going. Yes, I'm not wearing any leaders and I don't have a dirndl, but we will be wearing, we will be.
Are you gonna get those nice braids?
I do have the braids, so.
Yep.
So it should be a festive and good time. So please either join us or volunteer. That would be fantastic. I think that is all I have.
Senior Center building update. Either one.
Yep. So, I think we've talked about a lot of it.
Yeah.
Since our last meeting, let's see, Bishop Road was already selected. We've just moved forward refining the cost estimates and, which, initial estimates are $267 a month for the average tax assessed valued home, in town. That number could fluctuate. It will come down if, we're carrying conservative estimates on the cost of the utilities. If those don't end up being as expensive as we think they will, that number could come down. We're looking at both state and federal grants that could bring that dollar amount down. Any local grants, any local donors, any business sponsorship, all of the efforts of the Friends Group could bring that number down. But you'll still hear us talk about that number, that estimated $267, because we will go to town meeting to ask for the full amount, because that's just what you have to ask for, because grants aren't guaranteed, right? So you have to ask for permission to borrow the full amount and then hope that you don't actually need to borrow that much. We are working on, as we said before, the beginnings of the really broader public input process, and trying to work towards a wintertime special town meeting.
And I would continue to encourage people to attend the building committee meetings, remote, it's obviously available remotely. I have been somewhat struck by how little, how few people have been attending those meetings. I mean, which is the reason for the outreach, obviously. But I would just, when you talk to your friends, family, these meetings are publicly posted and people, because that I think is a good way for us to know who is in fact interested about these things, but also for them to be able to see the whole committee and ask, perhaps difficult questions at that time. Because all the information is sitting at the table that they may want. So I would encourage people to continue to try to do that.
Yeah.
Barbara, stop laughing at me. You don't hurt my feelings.
Anything? Just no thanks. Okay. Approval of minutes.
So I have been remiss and didn't do September's. I thought August's were done and approved.
No,
Nope, but they were done by.
Katie had,
Am I the holdup?
yes, for
On
August.
August?
Okay.
For August.
No, they were already-
Mary Ellen did.
They worked out.
You
You're-
were going to
You are absolutely right, and I completely forgot that. Okay, okay.
So they're done
There,
and we saw the draft.
No, Mary Ellen did them. She emailed them to me and said, take a look at these before I send them to the committee, and then they stay in my
But
inbox.
you
So
were
it's
going
it's
to
my
read
fault.
No, I thought I read
There
them.
was a revision you were going to do on
I
it.
thought I had read them.
No,
I don't think so.
no. But there was a revision you were going to make.
Maybe 2023's, Dennis?
No, I think I read August.
Okay, so those.
Either way, I'll take a look at them
Okay.
and then have
Okay.
Mary Ellen resend them
So
to the group.
we
Sorry
will-
about that.
Put that off until November. Okay, public input. Barbara W.
Yeah, I've had that somewhere, really sure.
Barbara W.
Anyway, I don't think things I'd like to, do our works at the next meeting. And I think we should have run to. And one is the possibility of having suggestion lots. So, it's something that we don't have to consent. And others to consider hiring an instructor for exercise. And those that time of people working the exercise because it's all videos. And we go through it, sure, it will be my needs.
Yeah. So we do have, just so you know, Barbara, we do have an instructor who's teaching 5 classes a week right now.
But that's not just general. What do you get the videos?
Do you need anything? So he teaches strength, balance, and flexibility
And this would be.
on Monday mornings, and then he teaches yoga and tai chi. But I hear your point, a general aerobic instructor. Yep, yep. Get note of that.
Yeah, because we were doing
Aerobic.
the exercise.
That's why we don't want.
And I think it's that.
Yeah, we need a person to tell you the right way to walk. Yes, yeah, because I know that feeling like something. You know, it's really not sure.
No, I agree. Yeah.
Doing things that.
But,
That's a great suggestion.
yeah, that's good.
But it's we also could use such a.
That's a good one.
My name is Julie Gibbons, and I'm 13 Main Street in Massachusetts, 01432. And what I'm mentioning here, get at, is I was reading this, as you were reading it, the top hat, okay, announcing it. It says in here, and I put it in again, so that's to, if you want to attend. If you're interested in specific, should make plans for in person for the meeting, to come to the meeting, but is this posted anywhere?
It's on every agenda.
Yes, the COA board meetings are posted on the town's website. Per open meeting law, and they're posted on the bulletin board outside of town hall as well, including that information.
It's posted where?
It's posted on the bulletin board outside of town hall,
Okay.
as well as on the town website. And then the date and time of the meetings are obviously listed in the newsletter.
Right, but you know what I was trying to say about coming in person, that was the thing. If they knew in advance, if they had something they wanted to say, to come in person. That's what-
Right, yeah. So that's, hopefully people see it in the newsletter or they see it posted at town hall and decide that they'd like to come, because the more the merrier. So
Yeah.
we can have people.
And this was up last week on the town website. I know.
You don't think computers, I don't.
I know.
Yeah.
You're coming October 16th, right? I'll pick you up and I'll bring you home too, so you can be the cybersecurity tech. You're gonna be a teacher? We'll
No.
certify you.
But they.
Am I gonna take the class?
No. Your computers, right?
Yep.
They can borrow.
I have no idea. You didn't have a computer, she didn't have a running computer. And I.
So the 16th is a training session for the trainers.
Correct.
Okay,
The
it's not a,
16th.
it's not a,
It's not, right.
You
So
can joke
these two are poking at each other.
Right.
So the idea is that on the 16th, I could sit down and try and teach someone how to do it, but if I don't have a thorough and patient and proven method to do it, we're probably gonna end up arguing with each other, right? Like, that's. So this is, the idea is that Cyber Seniors has a proven track record of age-friendly, age-sensitive tech skills training for people. So like, for example, when I help people, when I help my mom or I help other seniors, I tend to make parallels between
On each one.
old time like clothing catalogs where you pull the insert out of the center and you write it, and I try to relate it. I try to make parallels to it. So this is another way of thinking about it. So yeah, it's not for people wanting to learn, but before before I can turn around and offer tech skills class, how to teach someone like Barbara who's uncomfortable across the board. It ended up working in reverse because I was able to get the devices before I was able to get the curriculum on how to teach. So we're finally bringing that back end through.
I have one more thing to say.
Yes. I'm
Can I
listening.
get my name again?
No.
Want to say thank you to Sam for all that he does. He is above and beyond for every single person.
Yes.
Every single person. He helps and he does.
No.
I had heard stuff in resources for, for desserts, right? I might have something, and he will go to the table to bring it and then bring the bag back for me. I mean, he goes above and beyond.
No,
And I just think, I don't know how we can give,
no, we didn't.
huh?
No, we definitely didn't.
Didn't what?
No, we didn't.
No, he didn't. But
No,
I don't know.
he
how
definitely
we can
didn't.
teach something for what he does.
I see. No, I understand. No, the state, yes,
250%. And is there something we can do for Sam?
okay.
Sam did.
I mean, something.
No, I understand. I think we've had this conversation before, and you run into state ethics laws regarding the paying of public employees for.
Yeah.
No, I understand. I don't know the answer to it. I think it is certainly something. I think we should think about it, figure it out.
Yeah, and especially now, well, I mean, there's no free ride, you don't have to pay for rides anymore.
Oh, yeah, that's
Which
the
is
thing.
gonna
I
be nice.
Right, that's the thing I
And
forgot
it's gonna
to,
increase the rides now, because a lot of people didn't have the dollar or the $2 to go on, wherever they had, so now they're gonna take the van. Right.
Yep.
So
yes,
that's a big change.
yes, thank you to Mark for announcing on Friday, and hopefully all of you got the robocall.
Yeah.
That rides on COA vans will be free between now and the end of the fiscal year, June 20th, 2025.
And is that for surrounding towns as well?
Statewide,
Statewide.
I'm not statewide, Markwide, regional wide.
So within the MARC system. not
Yes,
the-
I have no idea whether other regional transit authorities did that as well, but Mark did.
I don't know if we could have a cake for them, something, at one of these lunches or something, just.
Uh-huh.
I don't think he likes sweets. No, he used to, but he's not anymore. He used to, but something, I don't know, I mean, and Katie does a good job too, but he's on the,
No,
He
he's
does a
fantastic, he does, yeah, no, he's fantastic. He's Sam. This is not
But
about me.
Sam goes,
I was just, this is not, stop that, that's not about me, that's not Sam.
just, I don't know, is there something?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great idea to think about how, if the seniors would like to honor him, how we can help facilitate that.
Even maybe a credit, everybody in the same sense that adds a rod or something, is there maybe. Thank you, I'm just thinking something.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
I just,
It is.
you can't have a cake, so. I don't know, what does he eat? Maybe we could make a separate pie or something that he might like. I don't know, just.
You're a case of a soda.
Huh?
You're a case of a soda.
A case of his soda that he drinks out. We could,
Yeah.
I
I think
just.
he's just a remarkable talent.
He is.
He
We
is.
will never find another Sam.
That
We
is
said that
true.
last night.
Yeah.
When we were at that place for dinner. And I thought,
Yeah.
Alright,
Okay.
well,
You gotta try.
you never know
We can
until you
think
try
of
something
something.
new, yeah, and I just, for the, we should think of something, and put it on, and we gotta tie up, so we
Yeah.
can get to the library.
Okay, so any other input?
Oh, I gotta stop.
Okay. Okay, so if we're done. The meeting is adjourned at 2, make a meeting.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
Second,
Make the motion, return the meeting.
second.
Second.
Meeting adjourned at 2:40.